For some people, those two words feel like a lifeline: affordable, accessible, private. For others, it feels like a downgraded version of real therapy, like trying to fix your life through a screen. But here's the truth you probably haven't heard. Online therapy isn't the future of mental health. It's the present. And if you've ever wondered whether it works, why it's exploding globally, and whether it's actually right for you, then stay with me, because what you are about to learn could change how you understand your own mind forever. Now, before we dive in, I want you to imagine something. Imagine you're at home. It's quiet. You're on your couch, maybe in pajamas, not trying to impress anyone, not worried about being judged. And in that moment, you're talking to someone whose only job is to understand you. Not your friends, not your family, someone who won't get overwhelmed or offended by your honesty. Someone who's trained to help you untangle the parts of your mind that feel messy. That is one of the biggest powers of online therapy. It removes the real-world pressure of entering a room, sitting across from a stranger, and saying the hardest sentence humans know: I need help. But let's answer the question everyone wants to know. Does online therapy actually work? Short answer, yes, it does. Long answer, it depends on what you're dealing with and who you're talking to. Around the 90-second mark in this video, I want you to stay with me because this is where things get interesting. One of the biggest secrets therapists talk about privately, but rarely publicly, is that online therapy works best for people struggling with anxiety, depression, overthinking, trauma recovery, attachment issues, loneliness, and motivation challenges. Why? Because these conditions are heavily influenced by thought patterns, emotional cycles, and the stories you tell yourself. Things that can be explored, challenged, and reshaped through conversation, reflection, and guided strategies, all of which work beautifully through video or chat. But here's the pattern interrupt. Online therapy is not effective for everything. If someone is dealing with severe psychosis, uncontrolled bipolar disorder, active suicidal behavior, or severe addiction, online therapy alone is not enough. And that's where most advertisements fail you. It's not a magic cure. It's a tool, a powerful one, but not universal. Now let's talk about something no one wants to admit: why so many people prefer online therapy even when they can afford in-person sessions. It's because therapy is emotionally naked, and for millions of people, opening up is easier when you don't have to walk into a building, sit in a waiting room, lock eyes with a receptionist, or drive home thinking, "Did I overshare?" Online therapy gives emotional distance. You're physically safe, comfortable, and grounded in your own environment. And this brings us to one of the biggest psychological advantages of online therapy: environmental control. Your environment shapes your emotional openness. Sitting in a familiar room lowers your defenses. It reduces social anxiety. It makes it easier to talk about things that normally feel humiliating, shameful, or heavy. That is one of the biggest powers of online therapy. It removes the real-world pressure of entering a room, sitting across from a stranger, and saying the hardest sentence humans know: I need help. But let's answer the question everyone wants to know. What makes online therapy better for some people? It's not convenience, it's not affordability, it's continuity. In traditional therapy, people often stop going because of transportation, work schedules, lack of energy, feeling embarrassed, weather, long wait lists, anxiety about leaving home. Online therapy removes almost all of those barriers. If you can open an app, you can show up. Now, I want to hit you with a surprising truth that most therapy platforms will never say out loud. Online chat-based therapy is not the same as online video therapy. Chat therapy can be helpful, but it is not enough for most people. Why? Because emotional healing requires voice, tone, presence, and pacing. Without those, messages can be misinterpreted. Sessions can feel cold or formulaic. Video sessions allow the therapist to see your micro-reactions, your eyes shifting, your shoulders tensing, your breathing changing. These subtle cues help them understand you better than the words alone. But here's something even more interesting. Online therapy often leads to deeper emotional honesty. People message their therapist in real time during emotional moments, mid-panic attack, mid-conflict, mid-breakdown, in a way that would never happen in a weekly in-person session. The emotional data therapists receive is more raw, more immediate, and often more valuable. Now let's talk about something uncomfortable. Is online therapy just AI wearing a human mask? Not yet, but yes, AI-powered therapy tools are rapidly merging with human therapy. Many platforms now use AI for mood tracking, crisis detection, and emotional pattern prediction. And before you panic, this isn't replacing therapists, it's enhancing therapy. AI can analyze patterns therapists might miss, like changes in phrasing or emotional intensity over time. Human therapists then use that information to tailor the sessions. Now, another 90-second value drop. What are the real benefits you will feel if online therapy is right for you? 1. Emotional clarity. The act of speaking your fears out loud reduces their power. 2. Reduced shame. When therapy fits into your life easily, it doesn't feel like a last resort. 3. Accountability. Weekly sessions are easier to maintain, which leads to faster progress. 4. Self-awareness. Because online therapy often includes journaling or messaging, you get more insight into your patterns. 5. A sense of support. For many people, knowing someone is there, even through a screen, is enough to break emotional isolation. Now let's talk about the problem no one wants to discuss: online therapy burnout. It happens when sessions start feeling repetitive or when messaging feels overwhelming. This usually occurs for two reasons: you aren't setting boundaries, you aren't being fully honest. But there's another reason people burn out: expectation mismatch. Some people come in expecting the therapist to fix them. But therapy, online or in person, only works when you're active, engaged, and willing to challenge your own beliefs. If you show up with the mindset of "help me," you may improve slowly. If you show up with the mindset of "teach me," you transform. Now, let's hit another peak moment. Is online therapy right for you? It works best if you struggle with anxiety or overthinking, if you freeze in social situations, if you're overwhelmed easily, if you prefer writing or speaking from a safe space, if you hate the pressure of in-person conversations, if you need flexible scheduling, if you want to understand your emotions, not hide them. It may not work if you're actively self-harming, if you're unable to function daily, if you're experiencing hallucinations, if you're dealing with heavy addiction. In those cases, online therapy can be supplemental, but not central. Now let's talk about why online therapy is psychologically appealing. It taps into something called digital intimacy. Digital intimacy happens when people feel more comfortable opening up through screens because they don't have to maintain eye contact, they can edit their thoughts before speaking, they feel less judged, they feel more in control. This is not weakness, it's adaptation. Humans adjust their emotional expression to the environment that feels safest, and for millions, the screen is safer than a room. As we reach the final stretch, I want to share the part most people never learn. Therapy doesn't change your life. You change your life using what you learn in therapy. Online therapy gives you tools. What you build with them is up to you. So if you're on the fence, if you've been suffering alone, if you've been hiding your pain behind productivity, jokes, or silence, know this: there is no right time to get help. There is only now. And whether you reach out in a room, through a phone, or across a screen, you deserve support. You deserve clarity. You deserve peace. And if online therapy becomes the doorway that helps you walk toward that version of yourself, then it's not just a tool, it's a turning point.